Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast, West Denver. Here's a quick message from our sponsor, Local Works Wheat Ridge, provided by its Executive Director, Paige Piper.
Local Works is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to make Wheat Ridge a more vibrant and sustainable place to live and work. Our mission and action is programming that provides neighborhood revitalization and small business support, keeping and growing the businesses we know and love in Wheat Ridge. In simpler form, we provide connection. Connection to business, connection to community.
This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Amber Betts.
Hi there, my name is Amber Betts, and this is the Good Neighbor Podcast, West Denver. And today we're excited to be here with Hunter of Ember Psychotherapy Collective. Hi, Hunter. Thanks for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So tell the listeners about the business, what you guys do, what you offer.
Yeah, so I'm one of 13 mental health therapists at Ember Psychotherapy Collective. Ember is a woman-owned practice and has therapists from a huge range of specialties. So some of us work with trauma, anxiety, OCD, grief, depression, relationship issues, burnout, personality disorders, you name it, honestly.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, we also have therapists who work with people of all ages. So I think kiddos between like 4 and 6 is probably our earliest. And then as old as it goes. We also offer individual, couples, and family therapy and do virtual and in-person sessions. So we can really tailor it to whatever the individual client needs.
Got it. So tell the listeners kind of your backstory, how you got into this line of work, everything like that.
Yeah, so I've known I've wanted to be a therapist since I was in 6th grade, which is crazy to think back about.
Right.
I found myself in friend groups who had really challenging life experiences. And so one of those people was my best friend in 6th grade, whose dad suddenly passed away. And I learned about coping with death and different forms of trauma really early. So it was incredibly hard for them. And I see it as a great opportunity to learn through my friends how to support people when they're at their lowest and offer that calming energy that they might not have access to otherwise. So from that point, I geared my goals towards going to graduate school. And I just graduated from that program this past spring.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I did my internship at Ember actually, and I've worked there for about 1.5 years and absolutely loved the diverse background of all the other therapists because we have the opportunity to meet about once a month or even more than that sometimes to check in with each other, get ideas from each other, be inspired. And so I accepted a full-time position there recently.
I love that. So tell the listeners, why do your, I don't know if you call them patients or clients, why do folks pick you over somebody else, or why do they keep coming back, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So I think that one of the things that sets me apart is my age. And I've been surprised that most of my clients have sought me out because I'm a younger therapist and they feel like I am more relatable. I think one of the most important things in therapy is being with someone who you feel like gets you and you feel comfortable talking to. So I think that's one of the main things that sets me apart. The other is the modalities that I use. I tend to use modalities that are a little more unique than your average talk therapy or cognitive therapy. So I've always been drawn to more mindfulness-based styles, which is really just about learning how to become more present in your body, mind, and emotional world. So because of that, I've become really fascinated by somatic work. And in somatic therapy, we aim to help clients tune back into what their bodies are telling them. I feel like we live in a world that often tells us to ignore the feelings in our body, and that's just one way that our emotions and experiences get trapped inside of us. So by tuning back into the body, we can release those emotions and experiences.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I often think about our emotions as young kids, and you know how when they want your attention, at first they'll be like, hey, look at me. And then maybe you're busy and so you don't look over, and then they get louder and louder, and eventually it turns into a full tantrum.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a really good metaphor for how our bodies work sometimes, because our bodies will do whatever it has to get our attention. Sometimes that shows up as an anxiety attack or a wave of depression or a traumatic flashback. And I try to help clients tune into their body so it doesn't have to get to that point of that tantrum in the body. They can just tune in and give that part of them attention before it becomes too much to handle.
Sure. Sounds like it makes sense. Awesome. So, Hunter, tell us any news, specials, updates, anything currently happening?
Yeah. So we have a few therapists with openings right now. The people who have openings specialize in anxiety, depression, animal-assisted therapy, EMDR, couples counseling, LGBTQIA issues, child's therapy, grief, and trauma. So if any of those issues speak to listeners, please feel free to reach out.
Sounds good. So tell the listeners, tell us, like, how do you give back or get involved in community, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So some of our therapists are able to offer sliding scale options for clients who can't afford the full session. That's one way Ember gives back to the community as it can. I just came into this field, and so I've got those student loans to pay, unfortunately, but I'm trying to build my connection with the community and help clients by involving myself in lots of different healing modalities. So by building those connections across the community, I'm getting ideas for where to connect clients in the future so that they can have healing that isn't just coming to therapy for 1 hour a week. I think it takes a lot more than that. Community in general is huge for healing. So I like to build that as much as possible.
Love it. So tell us, I mean, I'm sure you have to take care of yourself too, but what are we doing for fun or to decompress outside of work?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the summertime, I love camping and hiking. I've also been getting a lot more into yoga. I'm part of the movement climbing gym. So I started because I loved climbing, and I stay for the yoga. The teachers there are incredible. And then the other fun thing I've been doing is making sourdough. I just started at the start of the summer, and it's so fun to play around with and try silly recipes.
That's awesome. All right. Well, that kind of wraps it up. Hunter, anything we missed, last words, and then tell the listeners all the ways to get in touch with you all. So your website, socials, phone number, all the best ways to reach you.
Yeah. I think one thing for listeners to keep in mind about therapy is that it all comes back to creating a more positive relationship with oneself, one of compassion, intentional listening, and understanding. So I think it's really important that as people look for a therapist, they really take their time to try out different people, have that first consultation, and get to know people to see what's a good fit. I think that's really important. If you want to reach out to Ember, we have a website, emberpsychotherapycollective.com. And on that website, you can see a little blurb about each of our therapists to try to get a little bit of an idea of what they might be like. But we also offer free 15-minute consultations. So you can sign up for a consultation, get to know that therapist a little better, and see how it feels in the room. And then if you want to learn more about a therapist before that consultation, you can also go to Psychology Today. And I believe all of our therapists are on Psychology Today. You can type in their name and get a little more in-depth review.
Perfect. All right, Hunter, thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. You too.
And thanks to the listeners out there.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpwestdenver.com. That's gnpwestdenver.com or call 720-295-9588.